Brothers and sisters, today we gather to reflect on the profound lessons of justice, compassion, and responsibility towards one another as laid out in Holy Scripture. The verses we explore remind us of God's heart for the marginalized and His call for us to act justly and love mercy in our communities. In Nehemiah 5:1, we read about a crisis among God's people. Large numbers of them raised a great outcry against their fellow Jews. Their grievances stemmed from economic oppression, where the wealthy were exploiting the poor. A community divided by greed and exploitation cannot stand. Nehemiah acted decisively. He did not ignore the plight of the poor, but instead spoke out against injustice. We too must listen to the cries of the oppressed in our communities. What inequalities exist around us that we might have turned a blind eye to? Just as Nehemiah rallied to restore justice, we are called to open our ears and hearts to those in need. Are we prepared to be agents of change, to confront unrighteousness, and to protect the vulnerable? In Exodus 3:9, the Lord tells Moses, "And now the cry of the Israelites has reached me, and I have seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them." God is aware of the suffering inflicted upon His people. This verse reminds us that God hears every cry. He is not distant from our pain. Instead, He is intimately involved in our struggles. As we reflect on our own lives, we must seek to understand this divine empathy. If God is aware of the cries of His people, how can we respond? Are we laboring in our own lives to alleviate the suffering around us? May we become instruments of solace and support, embodying God's compassion in the face of adversity. The prophet Isaiah reminds us in Isaiah 5:7 that the Lord looks for justice but sees bloodshed. He looks for righteousness but hears cries of distress. God desires justice, not merely a legalistic approach, but a transformative justice rooted in love and mercy. When we look at our communities, we may notice inequities and strife. These are indicators of where we need to focus our energy. God calls us to be proactive champions of justice that reflect His love. In our relationships, businesses, and communities, are we fostering environments where justice thrives, where the needs of others are met, and where righteousness is upheld? Leviticus 25:35 reminds us, "If any of your fellow Israelites become poor and are unable to support themselves among you, help them as you would a foreigner and stranger, so they can continue to live among you." Similarly, Deuteronomy 15:7 exhorts us not to be hard-hearted or tight-fisted toward our fellow countrymen. This mandate to care for the poor and needy is a cornerstone of our faith. It's not merely a suggestion, it's a divine imperative. As we live out our lives, let's ask ourselves, what are we doing to lift up those who are struggling? Whether through generosity, volunteering,